As a Christian, I know that my faith in Jesus Christ is countercultural. I know that it doesn't mesh with the way of the world. I've preached on many occasions from John chapter 15, verses 18 through 20, where Jesus says this: "If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, because of this, the world hates you. Remember the word that I said to you, a slave is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you." Now, when an unbeliever speaks out against Christianity in general, or my faith personally, I'm not surprised by this. It's not comfortable, it's not easy, but it's not surprising. Jesus said this is the way it would be. Now, this doesn't mean that I let the world trample over me. I do take a stand for what's right, but I won't be surprised if the world doesn't understand or if it even mocks my faith. As I thought about this some more, this verse came to my mind in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 18. "For the word of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God." The gospel is foolish and offensive to many in our world today. They would rather rely on their own wisdom than the message of the cross. So what should the Christian's response to all of this be? If Jesus tells us to expect the world to hate us as his followers, then what do we do about it? How do we respond? A couple of things come to my mind. One, we need to reflect the love of Christ. We need to avoid the temptation to lash out and be harsh and respond in that way when that's the way we are treated. We need to instead display the love of Christ. God is glorified in this, and our witness is made much stronger. And so, as you face difficulties, as you face a level of discomfort because of things that are being said about you or about Christianity in general, reflect the love of Christ. Secondly, I think we can take joy in persecution. And I know what you're thinking, this guy has lost his mind. But listen, let me explain what I mean. Consider this verse. Jesus said this in Luke chapter 6, verse 22 and 23. "Blessed are you when men hate you and ostracize you and insult you and scorn your name as evil for the sake of the Son of Man. Be glad in that day and leap for joy. For behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way their fathers used to treat the prophets." How about this verse in 1 Peter chapter 4? Verse 14 and verse 16. "If you are reviled for the name of Christ, you are blessed, because the Spirit of glory and of God rests on you. If anyone suffers as a Christian, he is not to be ashamed, but is to glorify God in this name." Jesus promises that those who suffer for him will receive eternal rewards. So it only makes sense to pay the price now in this life and experience Christ's joy and rewards in the life to come. So the next time you hear of Christians being mocked, or you yourself experience a certain level of discomfort when you stand firm on your convictions and in your faith, consider it a privilege to be a follower of Jesus Christ and reflect his glory to the world.